This is my argument, my most convincing argument that I would give to Cosmic Skeptic. I don't know if you've heard of him, Alex O'Connor. He's pretty well known, but I did not stumble upon him until just a few weeks back when I watched his video. He went on Jubilee, and if you've ever watched Jubilee, the first show I watched ever of theirs was Ben Shapiro going on there, and then just a bunch of people that argued against Christianity, or actually not Christianity, just God in general, because Ben Shapiro's not Christian, but they run to the center to get in front of Ben, and they give their most compelling argument for whatever topic it is, and they go until they're voted out. So you should check out Jubilee. And most recently, I've watched Alex O'Connor go on there, and I am so glad I'm so glad YouTube put him in front of me, because I've been watching his videos nonstop. He doesn't actually go by this anymore, but it's still his handle on YouTube at Cosmic Skeptic, and his name is Alex O'Connor. He's from the UK. And I don't know his whole history. I've just been watching him the last few weeks, I believe he went to Oxford. Very smart person. But this is going to be, because I've been watching so many of his videos, I want to give if I was standing before Alex O'Connor and I was able to present my argument for God, the God of the Bible, and Christianity, what would I say to him? Like, say we did a podcast, say we did a video together, what would I say to Alex O'Connor? Okay, and I'm going to give that to you in this video. Before we go any further, this video is sponsored by HelloFresh. You should check out HelloFresh. They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and HelloFresh agrees. In fact, they're giving all subscribers free breakfast for life. That means you'll enjoy totally free breakfast item with every single HelloFresh delivery. Now that's important. Okay, so let's dive in. I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm going to throw if I can figure out the switches and the gears, the henchman pulling switches in the back, if they can get it right. Come on, arbitrarily doing something back there. Come on, let's go. All right, let's see if I can do it on the fly. I've been wanting to do this. Who knows what I'll throw up there? Okay, I know. There it is. Okay, let me just rearrange. It's all good. I'm really okay. So anybody that's just listening, I am going to throw. Hopefully, and let's. Okay, hopefully my voice is still coming through there. I've switched the screen, so I got the video from Jubilee and Alex O'Connor on there. So say I run up to the chair, and I get up there, because they're like fighting, they're clawing to get up there. Who can stand in front of whoever's the person on whatever topic it is? Say I get up there. What am I going to say to Alex O'Connor? And really, this is probably a bad setting of what I'm even going to deliver, because if I did this, because I'm not going on Jubilee and I'm not standing before him in that setting, I'm thinking of it more as we do just a video or a podcast together, and I'm just talking to him. This is what I would say. All right, Alex. So let's remove all cameras. Let's remove all microphones. Let's remove everyone else. We know that everybody's still recording. Everybody could possibly be watching. Let's remove all that. Let's just think about me and you one-on-one. Let's talk this out. Is God real? Is Jesus Christ how the Bible presents him? Is the Bible something trustworthy to put our faith in? All right, let's remove everything out, and let's just have a down-to-earth conversation about this. And that's how I would begin. All right, Alex. So I'm not going to be able to convince you. I'm going to say it up front. I'm not going to be able to convince you by amazing reasoning and amazing just evidence, as in historical evidence or whatever you have, because there's nothing new I'm going to bring to you and present to you that you haven't heard before. You've been doing this for years and you are settled in your position. But watching your videos, I have realized that you are as much as you possibly can be open-minded, that if the Bible is true, you would believe it. If Jesus Christ is a worthy person to put your faith in and how the Bible presents him, you would believe it. You're not just staunch in your belief that you're like, there's no way I'm changing my mind. You're open. And as much as you can be. And I say that kind of for myself as well. Like, since I became a Christian, I try to still think about how a person that doesn't believe in Christ, how they would hear what I'm saying. And we can only do that so much. You can only do that hypothetical gymnastics in your mind so much Because my position is it's impossible to believe in God if you don't believe in him. And it's not possible to believe in God if you don't believe in him. If I'm saying that right. I'm basically saying, and I saw this in a video that you did. I wish I would have known the person's podcast that he said, like, you gave that remark to him. You said, all right, you want to try to believe in God, just give it a go. And you were like just talking to him. He's agnostic as well, but you just say, just give it a go, just try, because we cannot just flip the switch and just say, okay, I believe there's a God, or I don't believe there's a God. I think it's already settled. We don't have a choosing of that. And I think something, so I don't think there's an argument, a compelling argument that I could say in the reliability of the Bible or give historical fact that would convince you. And I would say, even from the biblical perspective, that the most strong promoter of Christianity, the Apostle Paul, when he went up, like, encountered people that were very philosophical, very smart, the smartest people on the planet in his day and age, he did not try to give them amazing reasoning and amazing just history and articulation of the facts or what happened, because I mean, they're going to be settled in their position, whatever it is. He came to them with the simple message of Jesus Christ and him crucified. That's all he said. And he stumbled and he bumbled over his words, and he didn't have a good presence, and people mocked him. Go to First Corinthians, and this is what he gave, and this, we can find this in the book of Acts as well, of that encounter, what happened. He made it clear that this message, and I that's why I want to step back. Like, I don't want to be like, I'm just like, I'm going to get my Bible and I'm just going to hit you over the head with it. Believe. No. We can't do that either. I understand we have to give good arguments, and there is apologetics for the God of the Bible. But if we were just like, God has to change our hearts, and God has to make us in a position so that we can believe. I would start it off with that, because there's nothing I'm going to say that you haven't heard before. And the message of the Bible is so simple that it is supernatural. God made this message so simple. He made it this way. And he made it so that a little child can understand it. He didn't make it overly complicated, and he made it so that it would just break down the wisdom, what we would put in quotation, the wisdom of this world, the most smartest, brilliant people, and he turns it upside down on its head. And it says that he came for the people are the lowest of the low. He's making the meek of the earth that are going to be the kings of the next age. And so it does look foolish. That's why it's called the foolishness of the cross. It looks stupid. In our vernacular, it's stupidity. And that's why Paul said to the Jews, they seek a sign, and he says it's for the Gentiles. He says, for the Gentiles, it's foolishness for the Gentiles. And most people in our day and age, and most people that Paul encountered were Gentiles. And he understood well that this message, it's stupidity. It's dumb. I remember hearing, like, way back when I was just out of college and going to a revival or something with high school students. And then this kid just came to me and he's like, why don't I just go get crucified and make a book about it and have everybody else in the world believe it? And I was an early Christian at that point. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I get what you're saying. I actually get what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying, because I just came from that, because I used to think the Bible was fairy tales and stupid and dumb and not something to even pay a second glance to. So I could see where he was coming from, but there are solid arguments for Christianity. There are solid arguments for the Bible. And I could go into all day about, but you've heard every argument. You've heard everyone. But I hope you still have an open mind. And to anyone that's out there, I think if we humble our hearts and we genuinely, that's why I say it's impossible. I think God has to do it. Like, he has to change our hearts and our minds to actually be willing to do this, But if we do genuinely come to him, he will open our eyes. He will let us see the beauty of Christ. Because Jesus Christ, that's why I'm hesitant about going down really any argument, because I don't think there's anything I could just reason to you and say, this is because of this happened, XYZ, because Jesus Christ lived at that exact time, that exact pinnacle of history, because of the evidence of the resurrection. Why would the apostles die for a knowing lie? Because many people sincerely have died for things, but these guys would have known it was a lie. They would have known it. They would have went to their death. They would have suffered with no benefit to themselves, and to be like all together in on it is impossible. It's unfathomable. So there are so many arguments for the Bible, and I've seen so many of your videos. I know that you like about Christians, that you seem, the early ones of your videos, you were a little more hostile to Christianity, but it does seem like you were a lot different in your approach, and even your own view, that you enjoy Christians. You enjoy Christians in a sense, like as opposed to some other religions that would be a lot more hostile towards you. But I just hope that you keep an open mind and what you're saying. And I could definitely go into arguments but I don't even want it to bring it down to that level. But because I just wanted to like your worldview. And I know I've heard videos you saying, like, just thinking about death, thinking about, that we would, after this, cease to exist. It was almost terrifying. You said you hadn't really kind of done that analysis for years, since you were young, and it was terrifying. For me, there is still, any Christian out there, there is still some, like, there's always fear of the unknown, like, because we can say we know, and what we believe, we know that God is there, but I don't think God has made it possible so that we can absolutely 100% scientifically know that God is there. Otherwise, everyone would believe it. And otherwise, because he's made it so there has to be that element of faith. You have to be able to and willing to jump in. And until you actually do that, you count the costs, because Jesus said, count the costs. But then you have to just completely dive in. And that's what happened to me. I dove in and then figured out all these things. The apologetics and the understanding of the Bible supported my beliefs and gave me confidence. But it wasn't what convinced me and drove me into the kingdom. I was completely put off by Christianity. It seemed ridiculous. The dinosaurs always got me. And there is solid, strong arguments for everything. Everything, the Bible, that's why it stood the test of time. If you just look at the Bible, it's written over 1,500 years, over 40 different authors from all walks of life, and they have a consistent theme. And because it's not one book. We say the Bible, but it's obviously not one book. It's a library of books, from kings to peasants to farmers to to everybody from all walks of life, but it all came from one people group, which is insane in itself. It came from the Jewish people, full stop, completely. And you could say Luke, the physician who wrote the Gospel of Luke and wrote Acts, is a little bit different. He might have been a Gentile. I think of it whenever he might have been a Gentile. I look at him, he was a proselyte to Judaism, but it doesn't really matter, But either way, if you say Luke is the only Gentile that wrote it, every other book is written by, which isn't, that to me, when you really step back and think of it, is crazy, is really crazy. So I know I haven't given, I didn't want to go into and just dive into natural logic and natural reason and evidence, because you've heard all that. God, he gives us his kindness towards us, is he gives us time to look at him, but he's not going to just unveil everything. Everything's not coming out yet. And it's like, when it does, it will be so strong that we'll be like, it won't even be a question anymore. It's this brief time, this moment in history. When we think about how brief everything is, the cosmos is so brief. Our window in time is so brief. And I'll leave it at that. I'll let you just think about that, and just, if there's anything at all sparked anything and makes you actually want to ask me anything further, definitely hit me up. I would actually love to do this formally, but I wanted to put that out there, and I hope you take that what it is. Let me switch back. So anyone else that listens in on this, there's not going to be ever going to be enough reason and argument to convince you. You got to jump in. And I mean, you got to jump in and be just full in, and then you can actually test it out. Until you do that, I don't think you're going to be able to, fully understand who Christ is. You can see him from afar, but at the end of the day, that's going to be the biggest question that we are ever asked and that we ever answer. And what our answer is matters of eternal significance. Who do you say that I am? That was Jesus's question to his apostles. And Peter said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." So I'll leave it at that. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Peace.